Hello and welcome back to another Marvel Spider-Man related video. And in this video we are going to talk about suits. No, this isn't another top suits video. Instead, with the announcement of the third pre-order suit, the Velocity suit, we are going to take a look at the number of suits in this game and speculate if there are just too many. I know for most people there's probably no such thing as too many suits in a game like this, but for someone like myself, I most likely will only use a handful of suits. Namely the ones in my previous video, in addition to say the Advanced and Velocity suits. Now it goes without saying that by having a lot of suits in this game, almost everyone will be satisfied. But I think the question, are there too many suits, deserves to be asked, especially since we will have to craft each one of these suits by obtaining tokens. Those are the crafting materials. Not to mention the fact that some of those suits are going to be much harder to, craft than others. Let's begin with Insomniac's take on all suits in this game. Unlike other Spider-Man titles, Spidey's suits are a part of the game's core narrative, and they're not just there to appease fans. Let's backtrack. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had story elements to its different suits, but it was stupid. I mean, as Peter infiltrated different crime bases, he found prototype Spider-Man suits that just happened to be the right size for him. It's kind of like the developer said, we need to make finding suits make sense in this game, and then completely forgot to make them make sense. But that isn't the case with Insomniac's take on the wall crawl. Instead, they have actually written the creation of new Spidey suits into their core narrative. As many of you know, Spider-Man upgrades from the classic suit to the advanced suit, the white spider suit, fairly early into the telling of this story. Although we do not know the exact reason, I believe it is safe to assume it's because Peter's suit takes a great deal of damage during the fight against Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. We can even see the actual damage to the suit in the most recent story trailer. As a result, Peter probably creates a new suit that he designs to provide him greater protection and mobility. So that's two suits down. But with the just announced Velocity suit, the Spider-Noir suit, the MCU Iron Spider suit, the Spider-Punk suit, and the Homecoming Homemade suits all being in this game, we're already up to 7. It's a safe bet that the MCU suit designed by Tony Stark will be in this game as well, in addition to the Sam Raimi suit, or suits, at least the red and blue, if not the black as well. And if you add the 2 from the Amazing Spider-Man, we're anywhere between 10 and 12 suits already. Let's circle back to the reason Peter Parker is making suits. Functionality. The advanced suit is more functional than the traditional suit, and there's no reason to believe Insomniac would simply stop their creation of suits here. In fact, we know they won't because the Velocity suit. You may recall Spider-Man getting his butt kicked fighting in the Sinister Six during the Raft breakout mission. More specifically, he was stung by Scorpion during that fight, which screams suit improvement needed. Let us assume that as a part of the narrative, Spider-Man realizes his traditional suits are, suited to deal with enemies such as Scorpion. And so back to the lab he goes, and you guessed it, Spider Armor. Now, although the Velocity suit looks a lot like Spider Armor, we don't know for sure. But what we do know is that in the comics there are the Mark 1, 2, 3, and 4 Spider-Man armor suits. And we know that Insomniac will have suits from the comics as well, plus their own. So, it makes perfect sense for Pete to decide to create a new suit to give him better protection against Scorpion's sting. But will we see an Insomniac original here, or one of the comic book Spider Armors? If I had to guess, I'd say Insomniac would prefer showcasing their own designs again. This is their world, but to appease the fans, it would make sense to also include the classic Spider-Man armors as well. But here's where we find our conundrum. Given that most suits will come with their own suit abilities, does it make sense to have Insomniac's interpretation of Spider Armor in addition to, say, the Mark 1 Spider Armor from the comics? Not to mention, Mark 2, 3, and 4. But then you also have to think about the Iron Spider suit, both the new MCU one and the one from the comic books. They're all armor. So, we could potentially have multiple suits serving generally the same purpose in this story. That doesn't sound so bad, but let's consider just how many suits have been in the comics. No, I'm not going to count them. This same logic holds true for many of the other possible suits in this title, Electro being the next most notable reason for Spider-Man to need a suit upgrade. It only makes sense that the electro-proof armor will be incorporated into the story and the game, but will it be the traditional comic book version or Insomniac's own? And do we need both in a single game? With a character like Mr. Negative playing a large role in this game as well, I think Insomniac would be remiss in their duties as storytellers not to include the Negative's own suit, or their own version of it. And what about stealth? In the comics, we've seen the big time suit and the Mark IV, the Peter Parker Industry suit, both have stealth. The Spider-Noir suit and its story center primarily around stealth, which leads us to the question, is there room enough for a fan favorite like the big time suit, the Spider-Noir suit, in addition to possibly Insomniac's own original stealth suit design? Now, a point I've purposefully not addressed thus far is the number of suits we've seen in other titles. I'm not going to mention Spider-Man Unlimited, which has over 100 suits, but titles like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had 17, and Neversoft's Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro had 19 suits. We've seen a fair number of Spidey costumes in previous titles, and as you recall back in April, the Game Informer coverage said that they saw at least 24 silhouettes during their visit. Not to mention that Brian said, oh, don't worry about that number, there's more. We know that there's going to be a lot of suits. I'd say at least 30, maybe more. But is this too many? Especially if Insomniac wants to include their own suits with their own flair and style, plus the originals from the comics and from the movies. One possible solution for this is separating suits into categories. From Insomniac's live stream, we can assume once players reach levels 5, 10, 15, and maybe on further, new suit options will be available to them. If Insomniac will indeed continue the pattern of creating new suits in-game based on what's going on in the story, perhaps the story elements happening around the time players reach, say, level 10 would have something to do with stealth. As a result, all the corresponding suits that are unlockable at level 10 may be stealth related. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm not sure how Insomniac is going to handle introducing so many suits. I'm not sure if they're going to be a narrative for every suit that they design, or if something like the Velocity suit is just something that they thought looked awesome and they wanted to put it in the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Advanced Spider-Man suit will be the only actually story-inspired suit, or do you think that Insomniac will integrate their own suits in the narrative? Well, that's the end of this video. Let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and share this video if you liked it. Also, to stay up to date with everything that I post, hit the notification bell, and that way you're alerted and you're the first to see my new videos. And as always, do good works for someone today, because guess what? That's what makes us truly amazing Spidey fans. Until next time, peace out.